What if I told you that turning 65 does not mean you're on the decline, but instead you could have 30, 35, even 40 more healthy, independent years ahead of you with a brain that stays sharp, a metabolism that still burns fat, and energy that lets you move freely every single day? Here's what's fascinating. When researchers study the people who live the longest, the populations with the highest number of healthy individuals in their 80s, 90s, and even past 100, they don't just look at what they eat. They look at what they do first thing in the morning. Because the morning is not just the start of your day. It is the moment when your metabolism is programmed, your hormones are set, and your cellular repair systems are either activated or suppressed. And this matters more after 65 than at any other time in your life. Here's what's really going on inside your body. After 60, 3 major physiological shifts begin to accelerate. Your insulin sensitivity declines. Your muscle protein synthesis slows down. Your mitochondria, the energy factories inside your cells, become less efficient. This is why many people say, "I'm eating less but gaining weight. I'm tired even after sleeping. My strength is disappearing." But these are not inevitable effects of aging. They are the result of metabolic signaling, and signaling can be changed. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your body like a hybrid car. When you're young, your body switches easily between sugar burning and fat burning. But as you age, that switch gets stuck. You become locked into sugar burning mode, which means more fat storage, more inflammation, less energy, faster biological aging. The good news, your morning routine can reset that metabolic switch. What the research shows is that a few specific morning behaviors can improve insulin. The science of longevity and health span sensitivity: activate fat burning, protect muscle, reduce inflammation, turn on cellular repair pathways like autophagy, support brain-derived neurotrophic factor, the molecule that keeps your brain young. And when these systems are activated consistently, people don't just live longer, they live better. They maintain mobility, they avoid frailty, they preserve cognitive function, they stay metabolically flexible. So today, I'm going to walk you through the exact morning framework that supports healthy longevity after 65. We're going to focus on root causes, not symptoms, not medications, not extreme diets, but simple science-based behaviors that work with your physiology. By the end of this talk, you'll understand why your morning cortisol pattern determines your fat storage, how light exposure resets your metabolic clock, why delaying your first meal can activate cellular repair, how protein timing protects muscle and bone, the role of hydration in mitochondrial energy, and how gentle movement signals your body to stay biologically young. These are not complicated interventions, but they are powerful because they target the systems that actually control aging. And here's my goal for you, not just to add years to your life, but to add life to your years. If this kind of science-based practical longevity strategy is helpful, consider subscribing. I share tools like this every day to help you optimize your metabolism, energy, and long-term health naturally. Let's start with something that looks simple but is profoundly biological: water. Most people wake up and go straight to coffee, but here's what's really going on inside your body. After 7 to 10 hours of sleep, you are physiologically dehydrated. Your blood is slightly thicker, electrolyte levels are lower, your mitochondria, the energy factories in your cells, are operating less efficiently. This matters more after 65 because mitochondrial function naturally declines with age. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your mitochondria are tiny power plants. They need 3 things to produce energy efficiently: oxygen, nutrients, fluid balance. If the fluid environment is off, meaning you're dehydrated, energy production drops, fatigue increases, and your metabolism slows. This is one of the hidden reasons people feel tired in the morning and assume it's just aging. It's not. It's a hydration signal. What the research shows is that even mild dehydration can increase cortisol, reduce cognitive performance, decrease physical why mornings control your aging speed endurance, impair glucose regulation, and over time, this contributes to metabolic dysfunction. But here's the key point. Not all hydration is equal. If you drink a large amount of plain water immediately, especially on an empty stomach, you can actually dilute sodium levels and increase urination, meaning you lose the very minerals your cells need. What your body really needs in the morning is structured hydration. Here is the protocol. Within the first 15 minutes of waking, drink 400 to 600 milliliters of water slowly, not all at once. Add a small pinch of mineral salt or consume it alongside potassium-rich foods later in the morning. Why? Because sodium and potassium regulate nerve signaling, muscle contraction, cellular hydration, blood pressure stability. This helps water actually enter your cells instead of just passing through your kidneys. Now, let's talk about metabolism. Proper morning hydration improves insulin sensitivity. When you're dehydrated, your body releases more vasopressin, a hormone that is associated with higher blood glucose and increased risk of metabolic disease. So something as simple as morning hydration can influence your blood sugar, fat storage, energy levels. This is a root cause intervention. Another important point, hydration supports lymphatic flow. Your lymphatic system is part of your immune system and detoxification network. It does not have a pump like the heart. It relies on movement, breathing, fluid balance. So when you hydrate and then move even gently, you improve immune surveillance and reduce inflammation. That's a longevity signal. Here's a practical morning hydration stack you can try. Step 1, a glass of water with a pinch of mineral salt. Step 2, wait 5 minutes. Step 3, light movement, walking, stretching, or mobility work. Step 4, your coffee or tea. This sequence supports mitochondrial activation, cortisol regulation, stable energy release instead of the spike and crash pattern many people experience. One more key insight, hydration also affects brain aging. Your brain is about 75% water. Even small drops in hydration can impair attention, memory, and mood. For someone over 65, this can influence cognitive resilience, fall risk, reaction time. So, hydration is not just about thirst. It is about neuropede protection. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing because these are the small physiological levers that create massive long-term change. Now, let's move to one of the most powerful and most overlooked longevity tools available to you, morning light. Here's what's really going on inside your body. You have a master clock in your brain called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. This clock does not run on willpower. It runs on light signals entering your eyes. And this clock controls cortisol timing, melatonin release, insulin sensitivity, what doctors do differently after 60 body temperature, cellular repair cycles. In other words, it controls your biological age. After 65, circadian rhythms naturally weaken. This leads to poor sleep, nighttime waking, hormonal imbalance, increased inflammation. But morning light can reset the system in a matter of days. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your circadian rhythm as an orchestra. Light is the conductor. Without the conductor, the instruments play but not in sync. Morning light brings everything back into rhythm. What the research shows is that exposure to natural light within the first hour of waking increases daytime alertness, improves nighttime melatonin production, enhances sleep depth, lowers evening cortisol, and sleep quality is one of the strongest predictors of longevity. Here's why this matters metabolically. When your circadian rhythm is aligned, insulin works better, fat oxidation increases, blood pressure normalizes, inflammation decreases. This is not just about sleep. It is about metabolic repair. Now let's make this practical. The protocol is simple. Within 30 to 60 minutes of waking, get 5 to 10 minutes of outdoor light. No sunglasses, no window glass. You don't have to stare at the sun, just be outside. Cloudy day still works. Why? Because outdoor light is 10 to 50 times brighter than indoor light. For people over 65, this has an additional benefit. It improves dopamine signaling. Dopamine is not just a motivation chemical. It supports movement, balance, mood, cognitive function, and it declines with age. Morning light helps preserve it. Now let's connect this to sleep. Many people say, I wake up at 2 or 3 a.m. and can't fall back asleep. This is often a circadian timing problem, not a bladder problem. If your brain never received a strong morning light signal, it will not produce a strong nighttime melatonin signal. So you get shallow sleep, early waking, fatigue the next day. Morning light fixes the root cause. Here's an advanced strategy. Combine morning light with gentle movement. A short walk outside after your hydration routine amplifies mitochondrial activity, insulin sensitivity, lymphatic flow, mood stabilization. You are stacking longevity signals. Another key Point. Morning light also influences blood pressure patterns. Healthy aging requires a normal dipping of blood pressure at night. Circadian disruption prevents this dipping and increases cardiovascular risk. Light exposure helps restore that rhythm. This is how something as simple as stepping outside in the morning becomes a cardiovascular inflammation versus longevity explained intervention. Let's summarize this section clearly. Morning light resets your hormonal clock, improves sleep quality, enhances metabolic function, supports brain health, reduces inflammation. This is a foundational longevity habit. Let's move to something that almost no one talks about in the context of aging. Muscle is not just for strength. Muscle is an endocrine organ. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you contract muscle, even gently, your body releases signaling molecules called myelins. These myelins reduce inflammation, improve insulin sensitivity, support brain function, stimulate fat burning, protect against cardiovascular disease. In other words, muscle activity sends a longevity signal to your entire body. After age 65, the most dangerous biological process is not just weight gain, it is sarcopenia, the loss of muscle mass. And sarcopenia is strongly linked to frailty, falls, diabetes, cognitive decline, shorter lifespan. But here is the empowering part. You don't need intense workouts to activate muscle as a longevity organ. Morning movement is enough. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscles as a pharmacy. When you move them, they release medicine. When you don't, the pharmacy closes. What the research shows is that even low-intensity morning movement improves glucose control for the entire day, lowers post-meal blood sugar, activates fat metabolism, enhances mitochondrial function. This is why people who move in the morning often have better metabolic health, even if total exercise time is the same. Timing matters. Now, let's connect this to aging. As we get older, we become more insulin resistant in the morning. This is called the dawn phenomenon. If you stay sedentary after waking, blood sugar rises, insulin spikes, fat burning is suppressed. But if you activate muscle early, you bypass that problem. Your muscles pull glucose out of the bloodstream without needing as much insulin. This protects your pancreas and stabilizes energy. Here is a simple science-based morning movement protocol for longevity. Total time 5 to 10 minutes. Sit to stand from a chair, x 10 reps. Wall push-ups, x 10 reps. Slow marching in place, x 60 seconds. Gentle calf raises, x 5 reps. This activates large muscle groups, balance pathways, circulation, joint mobility, and most importantly, it is sustainable. For older adults, sustainability beats intensity. Now let's talk about the brain. Muscle contraction releases myelin called irisin, which supports neurogenesis, memory, cognitive resilience. This is one of the reasons. How this habit protects heart and brain physical activity is linked to lower Alzheimer's risk. So when you move your body in the morning, you are literally protecting your brain. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you optimize your biology naturally. Now, let's add one more layer. Morning resistance activity also increases growth hormone signaling, preserves bone density, improves posture, enhances balance. These are critical for living independently after 65. Longevity is not just about lifespan. It is about health span, and muscle is the strongest predictor of health span. Let's summarize this section clearly. Morning muscle activation lowers blood sugar, improves insulin sensitivity, reduces inflammation, protects the brain, preserves mobility and independence. You don't need a gym. You need consistency. Now that we've activated your muscles, let's talk about the fuel that turns that movement into real longevity benefits. Protein, specifically the amino acid leucine. Here's what's really going on inside your body. Muscle growth and repair depend on a process called muscle protein synthesis. And leucine acts as the on switch for that process. Without it, even if you move, your muscles won't get the signal to build and strengthen. What the research shows is that older adults need more protein per meal, especially in the morning, because our muscles become less sensitive to anabolic signals, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your muscle cells like a door with a security lock. Leucine is the key. No key, no entry, no muscle repair. Turn the key in the morning and the door opens for nutrients to enter and rebuild your muscles. Practical. Morning protein strategy. Target 25-30 gram of high-quality protein at breakfast. Include leucine-rich sources such as eggs, Greek yogurt, whey protein, cottage cheese, lean meats. Pair protein with light morning movement. This combination maximizes muscle protein synthesis. Why morning specifically? After a night of fasting, your body is primed to absorb nutrients efficiently. Insulin sensitivity is higher, so glucose and amino acids are directed into muscle, not fat. This timing also reduces post-meal blood sugar spikes later in the day. Here's a bonus tip for older adults. Combine protein with resistance or body weight exercises in the morning. This triggers synergistic signaling, enhancing muscle growth, fat burning, and metabolic health. Now, let's talk about vision and neurological benefits. Protein, especially leucine, supports the production of neurotransmitters like dopamine and serotonin. This helps with alertness in the morning, cognitive, boosting immunity naturally with timing resilience, mood stability, and combined with morning movement, it enhances blood flow to the brain, protecting against age-related cognitive decline. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post science-based strategies like this every day to optimize your health naturally. A practical example of a morning routine. 7 a.m., wake up, hydrate with a glass of water. 7:05 a.m., 5 to 10 minutes of mobility plus sit-o-stand exercises. 7:15 a.m., high protein breakfast with 25 and 30 grain of leucine-rich protein. 7:30 a.m. light walk or stretching to kickstart circulation. This simple morning ritual can set the tone for your metabolism for the entire day, improving energy, insulin sensitivity, and longevity. Key takeaway: movement plus protein plus timing, a powerful longevity trifecta. Now that we've covered movement and protein, let's focus on your heart, which is arguably the most important organ for living longer and healthier. Here's what's really going on inside your body. During sleep, your blood pressure naturally dips and your heart rests. When you wake up, blood pressure and heart rate rise, preparing you for the day. But this morning surge can also increase cardiovascular stress, especially for older adults. What the research shows is that targeted morning habits can help regulate this spike, reducing your risk of heart attack, stroke, and vascular inflammation. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Think of your arteries like a garden hose. In the morning, if you suddenly turn on full pressure without preparation, the hose can weaken or leak over time. Gentle warm-ups, hydration, and blood flow supporting nutrients act like a gradual opening of the tap, protecting the vessels from sudden stress. Practical strategies for morning cardiovascular protection. Hydrate immediately upon waking. 1. 2 glasses of water with a pinch of electrolytes or lemon. This improves blood volume and reduces morning blood pressure spikes. Include nitric oxide boosting foods: beets, spinach, arugula, citrus, pomegranate. Nitric oxide relaxes blood vessels, improves circulation, and supports brain oxygenation. Engage in gentle cardio first thing. A 5-10 minute brisk walk, gentle cycling, or dynamic stretching. This primes your cardiovascular system for the day and enhances endothelial function, the lining of your blood vessels. Consider polyphenol-rich beverages, green tea, hibiscus tea, or a small cup of coffee if tolerated. These support antioxidant defenses, reduce oxidative stress, and improve vascular flexibility. Here's a science-backed morning mistakes aging you faster fact. Studies show that morning exercise improves 24-hour blood pressure control and enhances lipid metabolism, which protects your arteries and heart over the long term. Older adults who implement these habits see improvements in energy, circulation, and cognitive performance. Bonus tip for longevity: pair nitric oxide-rich foods with your morning protein. Example: spinach omelet or Greek yogurt with berries. This combination supports muscle, heart, and brain simultaneously. If this is helpful, consider subscribing. I share daily science-based routines for longevity and metabolic optimization. Key takeaway: hydration plus nitric oxide foods plus gentle morning cardio. A heart-healthy foundation that reduces risk and boosts daily energy. Now that we've optimized your movement, protein, and cardiovascular health, let's talk about metabolism, the engine that powers every cell in your body and influences longevity, weight, and energy. Here's what's really going on inside your body. When you wake up, your insulin sensitivity is at one of its highest points of the day, meaning your cells are most receptive to glucose and nutrients. This is a golden window to prime your metabolism and improve fat-burning efficiency. Conversely, skipping this window or loading up on sugar can create insulin spikes, fat storage, and energy crashes. Let me explain with a simple analogy. Think of your metabolism like a car engine. If you fuel it with the right type of fuel at the right time, it runs smoothly and efficiently. Give it the wrong fuel or at the wrong time, and the engine sputters, burns excess fuel as fat, and creates inflammation. Practical strategies for morning metabolic optimization. Time your first meal wisely. Aim for 30-60 minutes after waking, preferably a balanced breakfast with protein, healthy fats, and low glycemic carbs. Examples: Greek yogurt with berries and chia seeds, avocado toast with eggs, or a protein smoothie with spinach and nuts. Incorporate metabolic boosting spices. Cinnamon, turmeric, and ginger improve insulin sensitivity, reduce inflammation, and enhance nutrient absorption. Sprinkle cinnamon on oatmeal or add turmeric to your morning smoothie. Morning movement for insulin. How to start this habit safely tomorrow. Control. Even 10 minutes of light activity like stretching, brisk walking, or body weight exercises immediately after waking can improve glucose uptake in muscles. Hydration with purpose, water with electrolytes, or a squeeze of lemon supports liver detoxification and kidney function, which are crucial for metabolic health. Optional intermittent fasting window. Skipping late night snacks or delaying your first meal slightly while staying hydrated can enhance fat oxidation and mitochondrial efficiency. What the research shows is that older adults who prioritize morning metabolic optimization maintain healthier weight, reduced visceral fat, and more stable energy throughout the day. Studies link these habits to improved longevity, lower risk of diabetes, and better cognitive function. Bonus tip for longevity. Pair a high-protein breakfast with nitric oxide-boosting vegetables like spinach, arugula, or beets to support muscle, vascular, and brain health simultaneously. Key takeaway: the first hour after waking is your metabolic sweet spot. Proper hydration, nutrient timing, movement, and metabolic boosting foods can reset insulin, enhance fat burning, and give you energy for the entire day. Let's recap everything we've covered today. Your morning sets the tone for the next 24 hours of health, energy, and longevity. From the moment you wake up, hydrate strategically. Water timing and electrolytes regulate kidney function, blood pressure, and energy. Move intentionally. Light exercise primes your muscles, joints, and cardiovascular system, improving insulin sensitivity and circulation. Prioritize protein. Breakfast protein supports muscle mass, prevents sarcopenia, and stabilizes blood sugar. Boosts cardiovascular and brain health, nitric oxide enhancing foods, brisk walks, and targeted nutrients. Keep your vessels, heart, and brain functioning optimally. Optimize metabolism, timing final longevity advice from Dr. Lee Meals, choosing the right fuels, and incorporating metabolic spices. Reset insulin and enhance fat burning. What this all comes down to is root cause health thinking. Fixing the underlying physiology, not just chasing temporary energy or weight fixes. Every habit you implement in the morning affects hormones, glucose, fat storage, and cellular repair throughout the day. Here's a practical challenge. Pick just one habit today. Whether it's hydrating immediately after waking, adding a high-protein breakfast, or taking a brisk 10-minute walk, track your energy, mood, and digestion. Then layer another habit tomorrow. Over time, these small changes compound into major gains in longevity, health span, and quality of life. Remember, you don't need expensive supplements or complicated routines. What matters is consistency, timing, and root cause thinking. As research shows, these simple morning habits can lower disease risk, preserve cognitive function, and even extend your life by decades. If this added value to your day, like the video, subscribe, and join thousands who are optimizing their health naturally. Share your favorite morning habit in the comments. Let's inspire each other to live longer, healthier lives. Your body is capable of remarkable repair, energy, and longevity. All you have to do is give it the right start.